They want you to explain. They need you to explain. Because the moment you do, you've already lost. In the power game, defending yourself doesn't clear your name, it confirms your guilt. And this isn't just theory, it's a brutal law whispered by history's sharpest minds, including Machiavelli himself. When you justify, you're shifting power. You're admitting there's a judge above you. That you need to be forgiven. That your position is weak. Even if you're right. Power, real power, doesn't beg for approval. It doesn't need validation. It moves, acts, and lets the silence do the talking. So why do most people fall into this trap? Because society trains you to. From childhood, you're taught to explain every move. Why did you do that? Say sorry. Make it right. But the higher you climb, the more this habit becomes poison. Power isn't democratic. It thrives on mystique, not transparency. When you refuse to explain, you create space. Confusion. Fear. Respect. You deny your enemies the ground they were counting on, your words. You break their rhythm. You force them to question their own attack. Because when someone remains calm in the storm and offers no defense, the storm itself starts to look foolish. Machiavelli advised rulers to let accusations rot in silence. Defending yourself gives life to the charge. Ignoring it kills it. And while this sounds passive, it's anything but. Silence, when used correctly, becomes a razor-sharp weapon. A psychological mirror that turns attacks inward and pushes people to reveal their true intent without you lifting a single finger. But silence alone isn't enough. If you're going to refuse to defend yourself, you need to build something even more powerful in its place: presence. Your presence must speak for you when your words refuse to. This is the paradox of power: those who say less must radiate more. In the absence of explanation, people will fill the silence with assumptions. This is your greatest opportunity. Let them assume you're cold, calculating, dangerous, anything but weak. The key is to control how they feel about you, without ever explaining a thing. Presence is built through consistency, composure, and subtle dominance. Walk like you're untouchable. Speak like your words are final. And when you say nothing, say it like it's strategy, not submission. Most people crumble under scrutiny. You won't. Because you'll understand a deeper truth: power is not in defending yourself, it's in becoming someone who doesn't need to. That doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're playing a different game. When they attack, they expect panic. When they accuse, they expect reaction. Your job is to become unpredictable. Mysterious. Calm in the face of chaos. That calmness will terrify them more than any counterattack ever could. The more composed you remain, the more control you gain. You're no longer just someone in the conflict, you become the observer of it. And observers hold the upper hand. Observers influence outcomes without being touched. But this kind of power doesn't come from surface-level confidence. It requires inner discipline. Detachment. You need to train yourself not to flinch when your name is dragged, your actions questioned, your silence misinterpreted. You must learn to let discomfort pass through you without reaching for defense. And here's where most fail: they confuse stillness with weakness. But in truth, stillness is a weapon sharpened by restraint. The more you wield it, the more those around you start second-guessing their attacks. The moment they begin to doubt their own narrative, you've already won. But winning in silence isn't the end of the game, it's only the beginning. Once you've conditioned others to fear your calm, your silence becomes the most commanding voice in the room. Now you must master the art of strategic absence, disappearing when you're most expected to react. This is not cowardice. It's manipulation. The moment they expect your retaliation and instead receive nothing, their control over the situation begins to crack. Here's the trick: most people react immediately because they're emotionally tethered to how others perceive them. But the one who walks away when chaos peaks, leaves behind a storm of uncertainty. That uncertainty, it erodes their confidence. They begin replaying every move, doubting their position, questioning their own power. You become a ghost in their mind, a presence that haunts instead of confronts. And when you reappear, if you reappear, you do so on your terms, not theirs. With that, you've reshaped the dynamic. You're no longer operating on their timeline. You're above the game, observing the board, while they're still stuck on one emotional move. This level of detachment creates a vacuum, and people hate a vacuum. They fill it with fear, anxiety, and insecurity. And in that mental spiral, they hand you control without realizing it. This is what most never understand about power: it's not always gained through action. Sometimes, true domination comes from calculated absence. Now, here's where it turns even darker. Because the final move isn't to return and explain. It's to let their narrative rot, while you build a new one in silence. You'll leverage the confusion you caused, redirect it. Not with defense, but with quiet dominance. Let your actions, subtle, strategic, dismantle the version of you they thought they could beat. Let results speak what your words never will. And when they finally realize they've lost, they won't even know how it happened. They'll just feel it, like a shift in the atmosphere. And you'll walk away again, this time, with the game completely under your control.